Okay, we're starting this first messy kind of review here of beer with Miller Genuine Draft. This series is going to include cheap beers and expensive beers, but I wanted to start out with a cheap beer and kind of do a series on Miller and their many different types of Miller. We're pouring it in here so you can get a look at the head. See, thumbs up. I bought it in a can. I find that to be a better way. Now, as you know for sure, if you're familiar with macros, this head is not all it would seem to be. It will rapidly decrease here as we kind of watch. Now, Miller Genuine Draft, I don't know where it stands on the Miller hierarchy. This is their $6 or $1 per 12 ounce beer in a 6-pack beer. So it's priced at the same price point as Budweiser, and theoretically it's competition with Budweiser. And when you taste it in relation to Budweiser, you can certainly understand what they're thinking. It's much like Budweiser. I'm going to have my first drink now. It's got a little bit more, much like Budweiser, it's non-offensive, kind of sweet, and the word drinkable, I'm sure, is one they would be glad I would have. Quite a carbonated kick back there, but again, just a faint sweetness. You can't really describe it, Miller Genuine Draft, or kind of even Budweiser, is kind of watery. They really aren't. They have a consistent flavor. It's not like you've got beer suspended in water. It's just the beer has this very faint taste. Now, this is our first, what they call American Adjunct Lager. For those of you who don't know, that means an adjunct, which is a non-barley malt, yeast, hop, water type ingredient has been added. Now, oftentimes in craft brewing, this is not considered an issue. I mean, if someone adds coffee to their stout, you don't go around thinking they're cheaping in it. Or in the case of someone like Magic Hat, who always has a diverse array of adjuncts in their beer, usually spices and fruits, no one really considers Magic Hat cheap. In the case of Miller, of the American Adjunct Lager, it's corn and rice, most famously in Budweiser, that serve as the adjunct. These kind of lessen the flavor of the beer, cut down the bitterness, and are the predominant style of beer in America, and by far the most dominant. The lights are light adjuncts. And so, the goal is here is cut down on price by using cheaper ingredients, but also give this kind of non-offensive flavor. Now, whenever I do this, I want to raise the point that every beer kind of has its place. So let me lower the camera. Every beer has its place. MGD is an alternative to Budweiser. That is its role in the marketplace. It's the same price point. It's got the same. It's probably has a little bit more flavor than Budweiser, but it's probably a little bit, in contrast to their Miller Signature Brew, the High Life, which is their kind of the original Miller beer, is High Life, which I'll review in the future. MGD is a little less flavorful, I would say. Has a little bit less bitterness. It was designed initially to taste like to be high life, but cold filtered. In fact, that is what it is. It's high life, but cold filtered, with the goal of it tasting more like off the tap. And what I find is, whatever the cold filtering does, at least a kind of a smoother, less flavored beer, but very smooth, not necessarily offensive. And so, if you want something that's, I can't say it's better than Budweiser, and I often don't know if I ever think Miller is better than Budweiser. But if you want something other than Budweiser, and you want something in that dollar price range, and you cannot get Yuengling, or don't like Yuengling, for whatever your problem is, MGD is there for you. It's also very easy to drink. This is your classic kind of session beer. Not a high amount of alcohol. Take it to the game. Cool. It's refreshing. And basically non-offensive. But this is not the kind of quality we're going to get into. Now, MGD, I don't know how successful it is at this point. I tried to find where it ranked in the sales, and it wasn't in the top 10 or the top 15 of the previous year. And that surprised me. High Life was, and I thought at one point MGD had surpassed High Life, but possibly not. Now, there is a real question of why would you buy MGD instead of High Life? Since they're basically the same thing, just one's cold filtered. Again, a little smoother, but I find High Life a little bit more flavorful. And High Life is at the 75 cents a bottle price range, as opposed to MGD, which is at the dollar price point. Something to contemplate. Anyway, that is all for this first edition of Every Beer Has Its Place. Even cheap ones, I guess we can say. And I will see you next time with, I think I'm going to do MGD 64. And the reason with I did MGD first, was to do MGD 64. And when you see MGD 64, I think the head is something that has to be seen to be believed. And we'll get to that next time.